everything you take from Mother Nature, she keeps a bill. She wants to be paid. And if you can't pay the lady, she is going to evict you. It's not your garden. You think it's yours, but you are just a sharecropper in the good Lord's garden. And he tends to everybody and everything. I've seen tons of wealthy gardeners kicked out the garden by Mother Nature. Mother Nature was like, let's just cover all that stuff with some, kill everything. I want it all out now. Everybody, I'm going out into the garden and I'm taking you with me because I want to talk to you about small garden sustainability and versus large farm sustainability. Everybody thinks they got to get this big old farm, and you know, like in the summertime, take for instance, we grow squash, we grow beans, we grow corn, and maybe we have a little patch of berries, and we eat the fruit off the berries, and we eat the fruit off the bean plant, and we eat the fruit off the squash. If you grow sweet potatoes, we leave the sweet potato leaves sitting there and just wait for the sweet potatoes whenever that comes. I want you to understand that is gardening like a farmer. In order to garden like that, you need to have a big, expansive farm because you're throwing away 90% of the food. Small gardeners and potters, they don't do that. I don't do that. I eat pumpkin leaves. You can go online and find lots of delicious soups and stews that are all based upon pumpkin leaves. Here's a leaf from my squash plant I'm going to eat because it is on the ground here. I don't think it's doing the plant a lot of good. These are prickly, guys, so most people can't do this, but I've figured out how to do it. I take the non-prickly side and pull from there. Figured it out. Sorry you can't see this better. See? If I try to pull from this side, it's prickly on that side. I just cut the prickles out. Some people rub them off and eat the vine, which is probably delicious. I eat sweet potato leaves. If you grow sweet potatoes, the leaves are more delicious than the sweet potatoes and, in my opinion, more nutritious. So today I'm going to try and make a pretty omelet. This is bacon because it's Saturday morning and that's a great day to have a wonderful breakfast. So I'm sauteing my sweet potato leaves, which is my favorite green. It's only available in the summertime. There it is, crispy and good, full of fresh summer vegetables and good news. Do you know how many leaves a sweet potato plant puts out? You don't need to grow any other greens. Even if you're in a cool zone and it won't make a sweet potato for you, it will grow leaves because it starts doing that from day one. It is one of the best green leafy vegetable plants you can grow. And you can eat the leaves. They're there all the time looking at you. Dinner is looking you in the face. You don't need sugar. You don't need sweeteners. Sweet potatoes and pumpkin leaves are very sweet. Sweet potato leaves are my favorite. Okay? Blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. The leaves are wonderful teas. What do you want the Lord to do? What do you want the Lord to do? This tea is concentrated here and would be a little too strong for an iced tea. You want it to look the color of an iced tea because this blackberry leaves have tannins in them just like regular tea leaves. So this tea actually gets quite strong. It doesn't have caffeine, but it has tannins, so it has a nice strong flavor. And it's good for you. I'm going to use a little stevia. I've absconded an old container And taking the lid off, mix that up. And of course, we need some ice for a good old iced tea, right? Oh yeah. Just pour it in there. That is how you do summer. All you need is to add your own hammock. Blackberries have this tannin in them that's so good for you, and it tastes like an expensive black tea without any caffeine. Raspberry leaf tea has been touted as a health benefit for the longest, but yet gardeners sit up and leave those blackberry leaves all on the tree, knowing that they're all going to fall off anyway, and they don't take the food off. And then you go to the store and buy tea and coffee. In a small garden, to be sustainable, eat the leaves. Eat the leaves, guys. I'm telling you, eat the leaves. Don't even worry about the fruit. If you get it, fine. If you don't, oh well, you should be full. Okay? I grow turmeric. I eat the leaves. If I want to, roots and fruits off of little plants in your garden, that's a lot of work. Carrots, I eat the leaves. You know, why am I going to the store buying these expensive herbs, Italian herbs and all that, and I got a big old bunch of carrots growing in the garden? The whole tops of the carrots are herbs, sort of like parsley and celery. Learn to eat the leaves. Oh, another one. If you go to a commercial farm or to a grocery store's produce section, they have to pull all the outer leaves of the cabbage off because those leaves won't store. They'll just dry out and they won't store. So why are you in your home garden pulling off those leaves? You can eat those leaves. Those leaves are food. In fact, before you even harvest that cabbage, once it starts developing a head and it no longer needs those leaves, you need to be eating them as a cabbage soup. Yeah. Broccoli and cauliflower. Do you know that the broccoli plant and the cauliflower plant and the Brussels sprout plant, those are collard greens? Why are you leaving the leaves on the broccoli and the cauliflower plant and the Brussels sprout plants? If you don't have room for collard greens and mustard greens in your garden, grow a broccoli or a cauliflower or a Brussels sprout. I highly recommend Brussels sprouts. Or another good green one is the early sprouting broccoli. So what if you never get a broccoli out of it? You eat the leaves. The early sprouting broccoli will give you broccoli leaves both in the fall, then it'll go dormant, and then you'll have leaves in the spring without having to replant. That's good eating. I'm just telling you, you know. And then your small garden is ultra productive, okay? Ultra productive. All of a sudden you have a garden. Every leafy green in your garden, you're eating it. So you have like 900% more food that way. And it makes a small garden worth it. It doesn't make any sense to grow blackberries and just eat blackberries for 3 weeks, picking those little small berries. The leaves, that's the food. That's the medicine. That's where the health is. Try drinking blackberry leaf tea, even if you have to go to the store and buy it. But if you have to go to the store and buy it, I'll tell you, blackberry leaf tea is usually $10 for a package with like 14 tea bags in it, and those tea bags are about a teaspoon each, so a couple of ounces of tea for $10, and you're sitting up there with that brown gold in your garden and snubbing your nose. Raspberry tea the same way. I don't eat the leaves on strawberries because the strawberry plant's so little, has very few leaves, but blackberries and raspberries, that's some good old tea. And you can't beat that pumpkin leaf stew made with pumpkin leaves. Tastes like good food. Oh my goodness. You make an omelet in the morning, forget spinach. If you've got some sweet potato greens, This is the epitome. This is the king of the omelet greens. Oh, another food that gardeners lay fallow because you're still thinking like the grocery store. Why are you guys harvesting onions that have leaves on them? Once your onion gets to bulbed up to full size, you eat those leaves. It's done. The leaves are where the good food is. Oh, and if you grow your leeks at home, those long leek greens, when they first come on, are very, very tender and delicious. In your omelets, in your stews, in everything. Those long, tender leek leaves, that's what I'm eating now because my onion harvest is gone, you know. Don't let your garlic fall over and still have leaves on it. Once that garlic bulbs up, eat those garlic chives. Those are the best garlic chives. I have another plant called garlic chive, but it doesn't have a strong garlic flavor like real garlic. You can't eat it until it bulbs up or it won't make a garlic. But after it bulbs up and you're good, get your food, put it on the plate. I'm telling you, you got to think like a small gardener. You got to think like somebody who's not rich in order to do this gardening thing effectively. Because otherwise, Mother Nature's going to kick you out the garden. You know, you and your fancy fertilizers and your plastic bags full of soil, you will find yourself kicked out. You have to learn this thing and you got to deal with it. I've seen tons of wealthy gardeners kicked out the garden by Mother Nature. Mother Nature was like, let's just cover all that stuff with some, kill everything. I want it all out now. And the next thing you know, they'll be like, oh, well, I got this strange this and I got this strange that. You got to learn this thing. Don't rob your soil. All this succession planting, have some moderation there. Everything you take from Mother Nature, she keeps a bill. She wants to be paid. And if you can't pay the lady, she is going to evict you. It's not your garden. You think it's yours, but you are just a sharecropper in the good Lord's garden. And he tends to everybody and everything. I'm telling you, eat the leaves, every one of them. And what you don't eat, compost or compost in place or make a pot of compost tea out of it. Let nothing catch you wanting. I'm telling you. Hey everybody, hang in there. We still going with this thing. You can get it in. Yes, Jesus loves you and I love you with all the Jesus in me. Be blessed, beautiful.